Do not day trip Cinque Terre. It's way too good for a whirlwind tour, yet many vloggers are promoting shallow itineraries, which is why I've come to this famous Italian coast myself to set the record straight. How long should you stay? How will you get around? Consider this your definitive guide. A 2.5-hour train ride done, and we've officially made it to La Spezia. Overall, it was a really nice ride. The seats weren't the most comfortable. It's not the newest train I've been on, but still, it arrived on time. We had no problems, so I'm well happy. For now, though, let's get away from these announcements and into the town. So what's the game plan? Well, firstly, you need to know that Cinque Terre is not one place, but a collection of 5 gorgeous seaside villages, each one strung together by trails, rails, and wakes. So leave that car at home, as it's time to embrace public transit. Because in Cinque Terre, the journey and the destination are both legendary. There is also far more than just the Cinque Terre to see, as this stretch of pristine coastline has secret bucket list villages hiding in plain sight. To do it all and bring you along for the ride, I've based myself for the next 4 days in the hub town of La Spezia. It has the most connections by boat and by train to the other towns, making it the perfect base of operations. Now, of course, since I just arrived here, I don't really want to go to any of the other towns. Instead, I want to focus on La Spezia, which I think is something most people ignore. However, the harbourfront looks really cool, and they have an awesome naval museum. So let's check out La Spezia, and then tomorrow, we're gonna hit the waters and get out into Cinque Terre. The views from the harbour bridge are lovely, and if you're as into boats as I am, well, they've got every kind you can imagine. Ferries, cruise ships, container ships, little sailing yachts, real fisher boats, if that's your fancy. It's all here, and it's beautiful. And also, look at that water. Usually in proper harbours that are used like this, I mean, the water looks terrible, but here, it looks lovely. I could swim in that. Perhaps the biggest ticket item that you could do here in La Spezia is visit the Arsenal, the fortified, moated military complex that has an adjoining naval museum. Now, to be honest, I was considering skipping it, but when I saw they had an amazing and extensive collection of old wooden figureheads, well, you know I had to go check that out. I'm a huge sucker for wooden ships and the artistry that went into it, so I really hope this lives up to the hype I have in my head. But no matter how much fun La Spezia has been, I think it will be more fun if we skip to Cinque Terre and how we're going to be traveling around. Specifically, over the next 2 days, we're going to do 1 day by boat and 1 day by train. And today, well, as you can guess by the scenery behind me, it's boat day. For 37 euros per person, you're going to get an all-day access ticket for this boat. You'll be able to take it all around Cinque Terre and Porto Venere, which will be our very first stop, and I couldn't be more excited. Grazie. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I always love a good boat ride, but coming into Porto Venere was incredible. I mean, just look at this place. So many people getting here by car. Why? You're missing out on a perfectly wonderful boat ride. And let's be real, these towns were not made for cars, so the retrofit is not very good. This is such a pretty town with its tight little jitties and wonderfully coloured buildings. It's a real pleasure to walk around. We just need to find the correct steps up to the fortress and then crush some elevation, and we'll be there in no time. God, the weather ended up becoming so beautiful today. So happy. How anybody is doing this whole thing in a day is beyond me. There's a lot more here than I expected. I think people are rushing when they come here, that's for sure. I think I lost my group though. Where did everybody go? Okay, we're back on track again, up above the town. We've been following these really easy to miss dark gray, low contrast signs. I recommend you follow them or find a paper tourist map because Google Maps has no idea how to get around this town. It is a labyrinth, a beautiful labyrinth, but a labyrinth nonetheless. It's a hard walk up here. And make sure you wear sturdy shoes because it's a lot of steps. Fortification walls are the best. It's wild seeing the fortress walls behind me as well. Not only because just a few moments ago we were walking around the other side of them, but it's just also crazy to me how steep of a climb this really was. The kind of thing you don't quite notice it when you're focusing on going up, but once you're here, we really did crush some elevation. A cool thing about being this high up above the town, almost died. I'm fine. I think one of the coolest things about being this high up above the town, especially when they have nice churches in them like this, is you can see the dome from above, where there's almost always going to be some really interesting tiling. It's a little more subdued and calm than the one we saw in Positano when we were up high there, but it's still fantastic. And this castle has a really long and storied history as well, seeing action for almost 1,000 years, with its foundation being laid in 1000 CE and its use going all the way up until World War II, when unfortunately the wrong side used it as an anti-aircraft battery. It's kind of crazy to me that a structure like this could be used for its same purpose for such a long time. So that part's cool. And we've met the best little castle puppy. Isn't that right, little castle puppy? So what do you think of the castle so far? Yeah, bye castle puppy. Keep guard while I'm gone. We've had to cut so many of my little dialogue segments at this point because all I keep saying is, wow, that's wonderful, this is beautiful. But
hey, some people on travel YouTube do that all the time.
sometimes that's all they do.
Wow.
I like to... But what do you guys think? Was it worth coming all the way up here? I definitely think so. Okay, almost back on the main streets actually. Now, before we set sail to our next town, no journey to Porto Venere would be complete without checking out Lord Byron's Cove, a dramatic little bay much loved by the famous British poet. And I can see why. Looking out over the choppy blue water and back up towards the castle we visited earlier, it's magical. But don't forget to look where you're walking. The path is jagged and treacherous. I mean, this whole town has a much more rugged edge to it than I imagine we're gonna get at the rest of Cinque Terre. It's so much more sea-worn and salty. And to think so many people miss Porto Venere, I mean, at least so I'm told, a lot of the day trippers to Cinque Terre, because this isn't one of the official 5 towns, people skip this one. And that is such a shame to me. This might be my favorite. I mean, I know I haven't seen the rest of them yet, but it's gonna be tough to beat this. But that being said, I think our time here is coming to a close. We've got about 40 minutes to get down to the port, to get back on the boat, make use of that all-day ticket we bought hours ago, and go all the way up Cinque Terre to the top city of Monterossa. And just maybe, we'll have a bit of a swim. And so as a change of pace, we actually managed to get to this boat early, and we've got good seats as well, which is brilliant because we're gonna be on here the whole way up. So I'm glad we've got a good view. And so with that, we've officially gotten back on dry land. It took about an hour and 15 minutes to get here, and it was a complete joy getting to see all the towns that we'll be exploring tomorrow by train, but by sea. The views were incredible. With the remaining time that we've got left, we're here in Monterosso, the largest and beachiest of all of Cinque Terre. So I'll let you guess what we're gonna be doing next. We're going swimming! Beach vibes and beer can only sustain me for so long, so even though we've been here for hours, it's about time we actually get into the town itself and get some food. I have a feeling with the light fading, we're gonna need to get an early sleep as well, because we need to be back here tomorrow morning by train to begin the hiking section of our Cinque Terre trip. I know this isn't what I'm supposed to be impressed by when I come to Cinque Terre, but I don't know, I love a good tunnel. All right, now that I'm in the town itself, yeah, this is really pretty, no doubt about that. And the churches continue to have that black and white striped marble. I absolutely love that. Though that building's ornamentation is fake. That's just painted on. But I don't know. I think it's a little cheap when you paint on your brickwork. I do really love the layout of the town though. Very pedestrian friendly. And I think that's super important because again, I don't think you should be getting here by car. Very in train, remember? So I think that's where we need to call it the end of day one. I have had so much fun here today, taking the boat, seeing the sights, Porto Venere. It has been an amazing day. But no matter how busy we were today and how much we packed in, there's still just so much more to see in Cinque Terre in day two. So let's go ahead and get started right now. And so here we are again at the La Spezia train station, the exact station we took to get here from Florence, which I think is pretty cool. I love an extensive train network. But what are the logistics for today then? Well, it should be pretty simple. For 18 euros or something around that, we're going to be able to have an all-day train pass. So we can take it as many times as we like between the Cinque Terre towns. The pass also includes premium hiking passes for the paid trails between Monterossa and Vernazza. But no more talking about tickets. Let's go buy them, let's get on the train and head back out to Monterosso and see Cinque Terre. We've made it. After a very stressful time at the La Spezia train station, we're now here at Monterosso and it couldn't be better. One pro tip for you is that do not try to buy your all-day train pass at the train station. That was a mess of people. The lines were crazy, nothing was moving and no one was helpful. So instead, check the link out below. This is the only one I could find where you could buy the Cinque Terre day pass online. The website's terrible, autofill was broken, and it was incredibly stressful trying to fill in all those forms at the station, but it was somehow still better than waiting in any of those lines. And also, you don't have to worry about when the trains will arrive. They kind of come every 15 minutes, which is the beauty of rapid transit. It's not about schedules, it's just about showing up. And they run until midnight as well, so you've got a lot of options. Enough about logistics though, let's go enjoy ourselves. Now, as much fun as I had in Monterosso yesterday, I also feel like I got to see it pretty well. So how about we start hiking? The trailhead seems to be over back near the beach. Let's walk over there and let the day really begin. This is everything I wanted this to be right from the start. It is beautiful, the water magical, the sun is shining, but not beating down on me, which is important for a hike. And the town looks great. Though I will say, I think Monterosso is probably gonna be the least pretty town of all the towns. There's gonna be some really cool views coming up. I can't wait to show them to you. And so here's the beginning of the premium trails. A one-day pass is going to cost you $7.50, but not for me because it's included in the train day pass as well. Hopefully that means it's good value. So let the official premium hike begin. But it would seem the trail has a traffic jam. Not a bad place to have a traffic jam if you don't ask me. I love looking at terraced vineyards. It's so pretty. That entire traffic jam was caused by essentially one group of people who hadn't bought their tickets yet. So I would highly recommend to any of you out there to avoid the ire of everyone else in line, buy your tickets before you come here. And it's cash only at the booth. Not too surprising, but be careful. I'm also seeing a pretty wide amount of outfits on this trail. There are some real avid hikers looking the part and some people looking a bit more ready for Instagram. Only time will tell who was better prepared. Though with the amount of stairs I'm looking at, I think good hiking equipment is required, or at least something breathable. I think a fair lot of people out there could handle this hike. I don't think it's particularly difficult. A lot of really tight goat paths for you to navigate. If you've never hiked before in your life, this probably isn't the first one you should do. And I suppose I also worry that some people might simply underestimate the hike because we're in Cinque Terre. It's tourist friendly, but hiking is hiking. And you don't get this high above sea level without working for it, that's for sure. And don't forget to bring some change to tip the entertainers. They add an amazing vibe to the whole experience. And with all the fresh early summer flowers, this trail smells great too. So we're about 50% of the way through the hike right now, and it just continues to impress. I'm absolutely loving it. Once you curve around from the vineyards and you go out towards the seaside, it's just magnificent. It's not the most time-efficient thing you'll ever do. I can definitely see why some of the other vloggers would rather do the more southerly trails that are much shorter, but there's no way they're as pretty as this. So if you like being out in nature, if you really like getting out there and exploring it, then you just have to come and do this trail. It is wonderful. This is something else now though. This is the first time along the Cinque Terre Coast that we've come around a corner and seen one of the towns. And the ferries have started running as well. It's really cool seeing the mode of transportation that we utilized all yesterday from a completely different angle. However, no matter how beautiful that town is, it's a long way down. So I think this begins the descent. Let's go crush it. It's not all amazing views though. There are quite a few traffic jams, as is to be expected. Some of the aloe vera we've seen on this trip has just been incredible. I don't know why, I just love massive aloe plants. So that's it, we've done it. 3.5 kilometers down, 250 meters left until Vernazza, and it was an amazing hike. I couldn't imagine a prettier picture or reward for such damn good exercise. And I think I'll go ahead and say it. I don't know if you can tell from our shot coverage versus a lot of the other videos on Cinque Terre that I've seen, but I have a feeling those guys didn't actually do the hike. In all, it took us about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to complete it, though I'm sure you can go faster than us because you won't need to take so many breaks to film. Or, with how beautiful the scenery is, you just might. This town is so incredibly lively, but after a hike like that in this heat, I am way too tired to explore it. Instead, I think I need a lemon spritz and a good sit down. So let's go get some food. All right, so forgive us for not filming our little lunch there. I mean, A, I was incredibly tired, and B, we ended up sharing a bottle of wine with some actual celebrities, like not 4,000 subscribers on YouTube celebrities, and I got all caught up in it.
I'm so stressed out.
Me too. Anyway, I don't have any footage of it, as you might expect. That'd be really weird. Now though, I'm all refreshed, I'm all relaxed, kind of, and I'm ready for a good swim. No more procrastination, it's water time. That was an incredibly refreshing dip. I think I've already mentioned it a million times, but what a backdrop. It was amazing. We can't just laze about eating and swimming and all day. We need to go see the fortress. However, getting to the fort does mean we need to get into these back alleys and crush a little bit of elevation. Luckily, my legs are feeling really refreshed. The buildings are just so tall, they block out all the sun, making it cold, chill, and quiet back here. So this fortress is pretty small, essentially being a 360 balcony around a tiny turret with views out over the sea and the town. The major question there, is it worth the €2 entry fee? Well, I don't know. There were some people who I met going down those jitties that didn't really think it was. For me, since I'm making the video, you know I have to come up here. Have I enjoyed it? Yeah, I think so, but I've also seen so many good views all the way along the hiking trails that I didn't exactly need this view as well. There aren't that many people up here though, which makes it a rare bit of peace and quiet that you're not gonna find anywhere else in this town, so I think I'm gonna leave it up to you. Now, all that's left for us to do here in Vernazza is, well, have a bit of a gander around some of the shops and get ready to leave. There's not a whole lot of depth to these towns, at least not after you eat and swim. Luckily for us though, Vernazza has an incredibly conveniently located train station right here on the main strip. That's not true for all of the towns. Sometimes they can be a little bit further away, but here it's incredibly convenient. This is perhaps the coolest train platform I've been on in a long while. There aren't enough doors on the train. Here we go. And just like that, 4 minutes later, we're here in Corniglia, ready to explore. Now, exactly as I alluded to in the previous town, Corniglia's train station is nowhere near Corniglia itself. It's about 0.1 kilometers away, and by the looks of it, a fair bit of elevation as well. They do offer a bus service if you need that, but nothing will ever compare to how convenient the station of Vernazza was. It was just right on the high street.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
This is how you get to Corniglia. That's a lot of stairs, and I'm so tired. Maybe I should have taken the bus service, guys, I don't know. God, just watching everyone rap back and forth and back and forth. Now that we're actually here, yeah, my spirits are a little lifted. Corniglia really is quite beautiful. There are so many cute little crevices and cafes. It's quite nice. There in particular seems like a damn good place to get a drink. However, to be honest with you, I need to keep Corniglia quite short. I want to have dinner in one of the later towns. I want to get to see a little bit more. And so if I'm not eating, I guess that mostly just leaves walking and shopping. And maybe I'll get a small gelato treat. Unlike the absolute labyrinth that were the other towns so far, Corniglia is pretty simple. Kind of just a straight shot from the endless stairs through the town to the viewpoint, past all the shops and gelaterias. So if you've been getting lost in the other ones, you're not gonna get lost in this one. And so we've made it to the viewpoint. Is it anything particularly different than everything else we've been seeing today? Not necessarily. But it is a fun capstone to a cute little pit stop that we've had here. Overall, I've really enjoyed Corniglia, though I will say this, I haven't really enjoyed the whirlwind pace that we viewed it at. How people manage to see all 5 towns as a day trip from Florence is completely mind-boggling to me. I can barely see 2 towns in a day. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. Have you done all 5? Have you speed ran this place? Was it as much fun? Let me know if I'm missing out on the whirlwind paces. But for now though, we need to go back to the train as there are a few more towns left to see. When they say stand back, they mean it. It's here. On to the next town. All right, we've made it to Manarola. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but can you see how much the train is tilting? It's wild. I've never seen a train just list that much to the side. Goodbye, Train Italia. So what's on the docket now that we're in the wonderful town of Manarola? Well, it's time for dinner, but not just yet. I've got a tiny bit of energy left in the tank, so let's use it to walk around, get some wonderful views as the sun goes down, and then have a sunset dinner at a restaurant that I think will have the best views. And when you come to this town late in the day like I have, the streets are just lined not with people, but with boats. Slightly more pleasant company. I am so glad we waited until sunset to come here. Really is something else. And when I say that we'll be going to the restaurant with the best views of the sunset and the town, I do actually mean second best. The ones with the best views are right there, but it closes at like 8:30, which just seems wild to me. It's a steep climb, but the views behind me are incredible, though I am a little bit out of breath climbing up this ramp. I'll reiterate it again, how people do this in a day and a half, absolutely no idea. And for those of you having trouble kind of keeping all of the towns apart, Manarola, this one behind me, this is the one everyone uses for Instagram. So I figured out this restaurant's deal for your benefit and not at all my own. It does indeed close at 8:30 and it does not take any reservations. Instead, you need to get an app from a QR code. I'll probably link it for you. And they have a virtual queue system. So you can sign up, you can see how many people are ahead of you, and then it will use GPS to know if you're actually around the area. So you can't be filling up the queue from your home back in Munich. Now though, I'm absolutely starving. So let's head back into town. I think there's still another good restaurant with some good views. Let's hope we can get a seat. That meal was a lot of fun, and I think we're like the third last table to leave. We've been hanging out in this town for quite some time. For those of you keeping counting at home, you'll notice that we have been to 6 towns, but not all 5 of Cinque Terre. And that's because we're saving one last town for the morning. And it's actually a really good idea that we're leaving right now because it's a 10-minute walk, and we've only got 20 minutes until the very last train of the evening, the 11:30 back to La Spezia. So I'm gonna run and grab that train. I wish you all a good night and I'll see you in the morning. Bye train! Oh, it's shockingly quiet. The new trains are so much quieter. But now we've officially done it. We've arrived at Riomaggiore, which will be our 7th town in 4 days and our 5th and final town in Cinque Terre itself. I just can't believe how long it's really taken though. I mean, 2 half days, 2 full days, and we're barely just completing everything. So at least for me, that's the minimum amount of time I would need to spend here. If you're more comfortable rushing with everything though, you could probably knock that down, but I don't know how. Classically though, at the train station from Riomaggiore, you do have to do a bit of hiking and a bit of elevation gain to get to the town. It's a great way to wake your legs up before breakfast. Lunch at this point. Wait, there's an elevator? Oh wow. The train station has an elevator. No idea how to get to it, but some of you out there, you might want to try to find it. I am so excited to get to this final town though. It has been so much work, a lot more work than I thought to travel Cinque Terre, but I think it has been amazing. I've loved every town so far, so there's no way I'm not gonna love this. We've only got about half a day here, but I think it's gonna be a great way to end this segment of the vacation. This town is really pretty. It's reminding me a lot of the Amalfi Coast as well, because unlike all of the other towns that we've been to that have felt like they really are just perching on and falling into the sea, this one sweeps all the way back down into the valley. And you are indeed greeted with just a wonderful view once you do the walk around the ridge. It's hard to get an amazing view of the town itself like you can in Manarola, for example. I think that's why maybe this is a little bit less Instagram famous, but this place is great. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. Hello. Sniff, sniff. Thank you. Baby for squeech. She's so sweet. And like that, she was gone. Don't drink from the bottle. And now that we're officially in the high street, having descended from that wonderful church view up top, I think it's time we do a bit of shopping and then we'll beat the heat by getting an ice cold drink. But now that we're officially done with kind of the shopping section of the day, no longer do I need to be on that busy, bustling high street. Instead, let's try to get a little bit of peace and quiet down by the water. I am so glad we saved this town until last. It has a little bit of everything, so it's reminding me of all the amazing things we've done on this trip so far. There's a brilliant harbor with picturesque views like Manarola, and if you keep walking a little bit, there's a beach, just like in Monterossa. The shopping is also pretty damn decent. You've got so many boats reminding me of when we were on the ferry on the first day. Man, this really is just a little bit of everything all rolled into one, and it is a great capstone to our adventure here in Cinque Terre. And so as we return to the top of the marina and the bottom of the high street, I think that's where we're actually gonna have to call it for our time in Cinque Terre. I've still got a busy day ahead of me, but no longer the video. You see, we'll be starting a full Camino where we're hiking from Florence to Siena in, well, about 12 hours. And so that means I need to get over to Florence.